What's the biggest promise your parents broke? My mom used to make this one promise to me literally every single day. I was 9 when my dad left us, and I remember how she'd kneel down to my level, take my face in her hands, and swear she would never abandon me like he did. She'd say it was always going to be us against the world. Always. That was her word. Always. I believed her because WTF else was I supposed to do? I was a kid, and she was my entire universe after dad disappeared. We were broke of living in this tiny apartment with paper-thin walls, but she'd make these little rituals to keep us going. Friday night ice cream no matter what. Stupid dance parties in the kitchen when I got good grades. She'd write these little notes and stick them in my lunchbox with drawings of us as stick figures holding hands. The thing about broken promises is sometimes they break in slow motion. It wasn't like she just woke up one day and said, "Hey, I'm done being your mom." It was more like she faded away in pieces while still physically being there. I didn't even notice at first. It started when I was 14, and she met Russell. He was different, according to her. All her other boyfriends were these short-term disasters that would hang around for a few weeks, then ghost. But Russell stuck. He had this way of talking to her like she was the most fascinating person alive. I get it. My mom is pretty and funny when she wants to be. But there was something about him that made me uneasy from day one. He never did anything obviously wrong. That's what made it so hard to explain to anyone. He was just there, taking up all the oxygen, taking up all of her. Our Friday ice cream nights became date nights, where I'd be left alone. The little note stopped. When I'd try to talk to her, she'd smile this distracted smile and say, "That's nice, honey," while texting him. It was like she was physically present, but her actual self was somewhere else completely. By the time I was 16, Russell had moved in. Our tiny apartment felt suffocating with his stuff everywhere. He didn't like noise when he was working from home, so no more kitchen dance parties. He didn't like wasting money on junk food, so no more comfort meals when I was sad. My mom just agreed with everything he said. Once I found one of her old notes from my lunchbox days. It said, "You and me, kid, always and forever, pinky promise." I showed it to her, thinking maybe it would remind her. She just laughed and said I was too old for that stuff now. Like our whole relationship had been some phase I was supposed to outgrow. When I turned 17, they got married. Small ceremony, just his family who all looked at me like I was some weird appendage that unfortunately came with my mom. That night she told me Russell had gotten a job in another state and they were moving in 3 weeks. I asked about me, my school, my life, everything. She looked surprised, like she hadn't considered that part. She said of course I'd come too, but the way she said it felt hollow, like she was reading lines someone else had written. Russell stood behind her nodding, but his eyes were flat. I knew then that I wasn't really part of the plan. 2 weeks later, I overheard them talking when they thought I was asleep. Russell saying the new place only had 2 bedrooms and his daughter Megan would need one when she visited on weekends. My mom suggesting I could sleep on the pull-out couch in the living room. Just temporarily, she said. Just until they figured something out. Russell said no. Said it would be uncomfortable for everyone. Said maybe it was time I learned some independence anyway. Said his friend Ellis had a room for rent in his house and wouldn't that be perfect? My mom was quiet for so long I thought maybe she'd stand up for me. Then she just said, "You're right," in this defeated voice I'd never heard before. The next day, she sat me down and told me I wouldn't be coming with them. She'd arranged for me to stay with Ellis. This guy I'd met maybe twice at their wedding. She'd pay my rent until I finished high school. She said it like she was doing me this huge favor. I just stared at her. This woman who had promised every single day for years that she would never abandon me, who had built our entire relationship on being different from my dad. And now she was doing the exact same thing, only somehow worse because she was pretending it wasn't abandonment. I asked her about her promise. She got this irritated look and said I was being dramatic, that she wasn't abandoning me, she was helping me become independent, that I couldn't expect her to put her life on hold forever, that Russell needed her too, that I was almost an adult anyway. The day they left, she hugged me outside Ellis's house, told me she loved me, asked me not to make this harder than it needed to be. I couldn't even cry. I just felt hollow. She got in the car with Russell and they drove away. She texted me later that night saying they'd arrived safely, like we were distant relatives. It's been almost 2 years. She stopped calling me, stopped wishing me happy birthday.